What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Keaton back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Link is in the description below. No teams on the bye this week, so I'm trying to get through this as quick as possible. So let's not waste any time here. Let's get into these picks. Last week went 11-3, which is a very good bounce back week for me after going 7-7 the week prior. Season 99-63, which is really solid. So let's just continue to stack up these wins. As like I said, no team is on a bye this week, so let's continue to get better and improve the record. First game on Thanksgiving Day, we have an NFC North showdown. We have the Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Lions favored by 7.5. Packers coming off a home win against the Chargers, 23-20 last week. I really thought the Packers defense did a phenomenal job with containing Justin Herbert and that Chargers high-powered offense, holding them to only 20 points, making things difficult uh, for that Chargers offense. And I really thought, Matt LaFleur had a really good game plan against Brandon Staley, who continues to be a shell of himself as a coach. Like I keep saying, I think he's going to be fired at the end of the year. Knowing that the Chargers have that much talent on both sides, and you're underperforming like the way they are, and I just think it's going to happen at the end of the year. He's going to be fired and that type of deal. So you really have to give the Packers credit, just making things hard on them, that type of deal. The Lions coming off a home win versus the Bears, 31-26, high scoring affair there. I thought the Lions did what they needed to do to win. Bears obviously made things competitive, but they just weren't able to make the plays down the stretch to win, and that type of deal there. But overall, in this game, I like the Detroit Lions 27-23. I think the Packers will do whatever they can to make it competitive, keep it close. But I think, like I said, the Lions continue to dominate at home the way they are all season. They'll continue to defend home field, and I think they will make more plays than the Packers will. I think the Lions defense obviously hasn't been all that great this season, but I think they'll be able to make some plays against Jordan Love, maybe turn them over here and there. So give me the Lions 27-23 at home. Next game, we have the NFC East showdown. We have the Washington Commanders at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 11. The Commanders coming off of a home loss last week to the Giants, 31-19. Just a very bad loss, in my opinion. You lose to a Giants team that's tanking, obviously. One of the worst teams in the league. You let Tommy DeVito go out there and just do whatever he wanted with the football. He was able to pass the ball and just dissecting that Commanders defense throughout the entire game. The Giants just wanted more than the Commanders. I'm not really sure what the Commanders' direction is. They just don't have an identity right now. And I think Ron Rivera obviously is going to be fired at the end of the season, in my opinion. I just don't think he's that great of a coach. I think he's lost the locker room. Players aren't really buying into what he has in store for this team. So that's about it there. The Cowboys are coming off of a win, a dominant win on the road at Carolina, 33-10. Just like I said last week, I thought the Cowboys defense would get after Bryce Young, that offense, just making life hell for them. I just thought it was a bad matchup for Bryce Young going up against this stout defense in the Dallas Cowboys and stuff like that. Not much to talk about there. Cowboys just dominated the entire game there. But overall, in this matchup, I like the Cowboys to win 31-17, winning by 2 touchdowns here. I just think they dominate. I think they get after Sam Howell and that offense. Like I said, I just think the Commanders don't have an identity right now. I think the Cowboys obviously have to win with the tough schedule coming up, so I think they dominate here at home, 31-17 in Dallas. Next game, we have an NFC West showdown. We have the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers favored by 6.5. 49ers coming off of a win at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 27-14. They just pretty much dominated that entire game. They pretty much controlled the game. With the run game, I thought Brock Purdy had a pretty good day. And that type of deal. I thought the defense really got after Baker Mayfield, not offense. Just not making things easy for them. Obviously, Tampa Bay wasn't able to get anything going really throughout that entire game offensively. And San Francisco, like I said, they just did what they wanted and they just controlled the game there. Seattle coming off of a road loss at the Rams, 17-16, which I was very surprised about that because I thought the Seahawks would take care of business, knowing that they had to keep pace with the 49ers if they want to win this division, that type of deal. But I thought the Rams were pre-rested. They come off a bye and they just came out and they really just, it was a close game. They did what they needed to do to win, and they just made more plays offensively than Seahawks did. Geno Smith didn't have that good of a game there. Obviously, he got hurt and that type of deal there. So, but overall in this matchup, this is a divisional matchup. I think this will be close, but I select the 49ers to win 26-17. I just think they're a better team right now than the Seahawks are. Seahawks obviously will make things competitive, depending on the status of Geno Smith, but the 49ers, both sides of the ball, are just a better team. So 49ers 26-17 in Seattle. Next game, we have a Black Friday edition. We have the AFC East showdown between the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Miami favored by 10 points. Dolphins, obviously, they came off of a win last week at home against the Raiders 20-13. I thought the Dolphins, obviously, they just did what they needed to do to win. Obviously, I thought the game would have been a blowout. But the Raiders did a good job of just keeping themselves in the game. They really did a good job of containing Tyreek Hill and that type of deal there, and Jalen Waddle. But like I said, the Dolphins, they're a really good home team. They just made more plays down the stretch, and they escaped with a tight victory at home there. The New York Jets coming off of just a bad loss on the road in Buffalo, 32-6. Like I keep saying with this Jets team, they have a great defense, but their offense just doesn't. They just continue not to show up. And like I said, until I see some progress with this offense, this is not a playoff team, in my opinion. You saw some breaks in that defense. At the end of the day, your defense can't be on the field the entire game. You know what I'm saying? Your offense has to do their part by getting the ball down the field and scoring some points and giving your defense a rest. And I think we're seeing some cracks on that Jets defense. Like I said, they're on the field way too long and they're going to get tired eventually. So, but overall in this game, a lot of people have this game as a close game, and I think it will be a close game for the majority of it. But I think the Dolphins will run away here, 23-10. I just don't think the Jets. And they're obviously starting Tim Doyle in this game, benching Jack Wilson, that type of deal. But I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. If you can't move the ball down the field, it's not going to matter in the end. I think the Dolphins they have more on offense and defense, having Jalen Ramsey back, him shaking off more of the rust. I think he'll have a pretty good game there. So give me the Dolphins here, 23-10 in New York. Next game, we have an NFC South showdown. We have the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons favored by 1.5. Saints coming off of a bye, coming off of a Week 10 loss at the Vikings, 27-19. Falcons were on the bye as well. They came off of a loss in Week 10 at Arizona, 25-23. I just think this between these two teams. Obviously, Derek Carr is in concussion protocol right now, so we don't know the status of him. Desmond Ridder obviously is getting the call for the remainder of the season for the Falcons. That type of deal there. But overall, I think it doesn't really matter for the Saints who the quarterback is, whether if it's Derek Carr or Jameis Winston, and that type of deal. I still think the Saints are just a better overall team than the Falcons right now. I don't trust Desmond Ridder, even though he has shown some flashes here and there, but he continues to put the ball in harm's way like he's been doing earlier in the year and that type of deal. But I just don't trust the Falcons team right now. So give me the Saints here, 21-20 on the road. Um, Obviously, this is a big game for both teams to put themselves in first place in the division. But I just think the Saints are just an overall better team. And it's really their division to lose, in my opinion. So give me the Saints here, 21-20 in Atlanta. Next game, we have an AFC North battle. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers fed by 1 point. Steelers coming off a loss in Cleveland, 13-10. The Steelers offense just continues to not show up and move the ball down the field. Kenny Pickett is struggling right now with his play, just playing with no confidence right now. The defense is doing their part. They're doing what they needed to do. They did hold the Browns to 13 points, so the Steelers defense continues to be the reason why they're winning games and that type of deal. There is good news. Steelers fired Matt Canada this morning, which is about time because he basically was holding the Steelers offense back and that type of deal. But at the end of the day, this is on Kenny Pickett now. There's no excuses now. You got rid of Matt Canada. Now it's time for you to show up and be the quarterback that Pittsburgh thought you were going to be. It's time for you to show up now and quit playing quit playing so bad the way you have and that type of deal. So you need to do your part, and Pittsburgh needs to be more consistent offensively. The Cincinnati Bengals, they came off of a loss last Thursday, 34-20 at Baltimore. Obviously, bad news. Bengals losing Joe Burrow for the season, which is a big blow to this team. Obviously, he means a lot to their football team. So not having him really just hurts their playoff chances and that type of deal. They are sitting at 5-5. They are in the hunt. I just believe this season's over for Cincinnati. You just can't replace Joe Burrow. And the defense obviously isn't all that great. Decent, but not great. And they can't really stop anyone consistently. So you lose Joe Burrow and you can't stop people defensively. You're just not going to win many games in this league. So not much to say about the Bengals. I like the Steelers here, 19-17, low scoring affair. I think their defense will be able to shut down this Bengals offense and that type of deal. And obviously make more plays on that side and make life difficult for that Bengals offense to get anything going. So Steelers do the job. They get the job done on the road, 19-17 in Cincinnati. Next game, we have an interconference matchup. We have the Carolina Panthers at the Tennessee Titans. Titans fair by 3.5. I'm not going to waste much time here. Carolina came off of a bad loss at home to the Cowboys, 33-10. Didn't do anything offensively. Like I said last week, that was just a bad matchup for Bryce Young against that Cowboys defense, who's one of the best in the league. Cowboys was able to do whatever they wanted on that side of the ball the entire game. Obviously, and the Panthers defense couldn't stop the Cowboys offense and that type of deal. Titans coming off of a loss at Jacksonville, 34-14. Not much to say about that. They just got outplayed on both sides of the ball the entire game there. But overall in this game, I like the Titans 20-16 here. I think they're just a better team than Carolina is. Like I said, Carolina continues to struggle offensively. They can't stop really anyone defensively and that type of deal. So Titans just a better football team. I think Derrick Henry will have a big game on the ground and that type of deal there. So Titans 2016 at home. Next game, we have another interconference matchup. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts fair by 2.5. The Bucs came off a loss at the 49ers 27-14. Like I said, the Tampa Bay offense couldn't get anything going against that really good 49ers defense. 49ers, like I said, getting Chase Young on that defense has just rejuvenated that defense. They're flying all around the field, making plays, and making it hard for any opposing offense to run against. It's just their defense is that good and that elite. So yeah, I mean they just couldn't get anything going against that Niners defense there. The Colts came off of a bye, came off a Week 10 win in Germany against the Patriots, 10-6. Not much to say about these teams, obviously. I like the Colts to win 23-20. I just think, them being at home, they're 5-5 right now, fighting for a playoff spot and that type of deal, which is hard to believe because I didn't expect them to be in this position from the beginning of the season. But here we are. They're at home. I think they're a better team here. So give me the Colts 23-20 at home. Oh boy. Oh boy. We have a not so good game here. We have a toy bowl of the week. We have the New England Patriots at the New York Giants. Patriots favored by 3. Pats come off of a bye. They did come off of a Week 10 loss in Germany to the Colts, 10-6. The Giants coming off a road win at the Commanders, 31-19. I'm not going to waste any time talking about these two teams. Give me the Giants 17-14. I just think the Giants will find a way to win and blow their opportunity to get a top pick in the draft. I think the Patriots continue to lose, which is I think is the best thing for this organization right now and that type of deal. So give me the Giants here 17-14 at home. Next game, we have an AFC South showdown. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Jags favored by 1.5. Jags came off a home dominant win against the Titans 34-14. Not going to get much into that game. Jags just dominated the whole game on both sides of the ball against an inferior team like the Titans. Titans had no answers against this Jags offense, and they couldn't move the ball down the field consistently on offense against this Jags defense, that type of deal. The Texans come off a home win against the Cardinals 21-16. I was kind of surprised that this game was closer than it was. I thought this game would have been more of a double-digit win for the Texans, but they did what they needed to do offensively. C.J. Stroud made plays when it mattered most, and that type of deal there. But overall, in this game, the Texans did beat the Jags earlier in the year 37-17. But I like the Jags to get them back here. 24-22, really close game on the road here. I just think the Jags will make more plays. Obviously, I think they'll use their experience against an inexperienced Texans team who is exciting, like I said multiple times before. But I just think the Jags, they'll get them back here. I just can't see the Texans sweeping the Jags here. They're still the classes of the AFC South here. So give me the Jags here 24-22 on the road. Next game, we have an AFC North versus AFC West battle. We have the Cleveland Browns at the Denver Broncos. Broncos favored by 2.5. The Cleveland Browns coming off a low-scoring win at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers 13-10. Like I keep saying, this Browns defense just got after Kenny Pickett, made life difficult for that Steelers offense to get anything going down the field throughout the entire game. Thompson, this Browns offense, didn't do much, but they got the W in the end. He made the necessary throws down the field and got his team into field goal range, and they won the game. So not much to say about that. No offenses were shown in that game. It was a defensive battle the whole way. The Denver Broncos coming off a close battle, a close win at home against the Vikings, 21-20. The Broncos did what they needed to do. The defense was phenomenal the entire game. Really just contained Joshua Dobbs. I know Joshua Dobbs has been playing well, obviously leading up to that game. But I kind of knew going into that game, that game was in Denver, in the Mile High, and I knew the Broncos would go in there and have a game plan against Joshua Dobbs and that offense, who has been rolling, by the way, in the past weeks leading up to this game. But overall, I don't see much offense in this game. This is going to be a defensive battle. I just think that the Browns' defense should be able to get after Russell Wilson's offense. And I think the Broncos will have a hard time moving the ball down the field consistently against this Browns defense, who is the best defensive team in football as we speak. So giving the Browns here 16-13 on the road. Like I said, I think they make more plays on defense and that type of deal there, and they'll get some turnovers late in that game. So give me the Browns 16-13 in Denver. Next game, we have an AFC West edition. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals favored by 1.5 for whatever reason. The Rams came off a road win in Seattle, 17-16. The Rams did. They came off a bye. They were fresh, and they really just got after that Seattle offense. Just really shutting down Geno Smith and company there. Obviously, Geno Smith didn't end up getting hurt in that game, but the Rams got a big win. Big divisional win that still, believe it or not, keeps them in the hunt for the playoffs and that type of deal there. So, huge win for them there. The Cardinals came off of a loss in Houston, 21-16. They didn't do much in that game, obviously. Kyler Murray is still rusty. He's still shaking off the rust after missing all that time with an injury and that type of deal there. So, not much to say there. But I still like the Rams to win 20-17 on the road. I think they're just a better team. They obviously have owned this Cardinals team under Sean McVay, and I think it continues there. So give me the Rams on the road, 2017. Another AFC West showdown. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs favored by 9 points. Chiefs coming off of a loss at home to the Philadelphia Eagles, 21-17. Obviously, the Chiefs' defense is still playing really well right now. Obviously, that's pretty much the only spark they have right now. The offense continues to be a concern. They did have some plays where Patrick Mahomes threw the ball down the field to Vontez Scanley, I believe that's his name. Had the ball in his hands and he dropped it. They could have been up 24-21 there. So that was a big drop there, and obviously a delayed game penalty that put them back at 4th and 25, and then they couldn't convert on the 4th and 25 the next play, and they ended up losing the game. So the Chiefs' offense isn't as dominant as years past. Travis Kelce is not as dominant of a tight end like he has been. He just looks sluggish on the field. He just doesn't have a lot of pop like he used to. But at the end of the day, you still can't write off this Chiefs team. They're still here until someone beats them in the playoffs and that type of deal. The Raiders come off of a close loss at the Dolphins, 20-13. I was really surprised of how close that game was. Thought the Raiders competed their butts off the entire game. Everyone pretty much had this game as a blowout. I had the Raiders covering, but I didn't think they would cover by that much. They only lost by 7 points, but they couldn't really get anything going offensively against a really good Dolphins team. The Dolphins defense has really improved ever since getting Jalen Ramsey back and that type of deal. They just made life pretty hard for that Raiders offense to get anything going throughout that whole game there. But the defense really showed up, and they really challenged Miami and just made things hard, and they pretty much scared Miami. I thought the Raiders would win the game, but obviously Miami just has too much talent. And Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and those guys on the offense. So, but overall in this game, I like the Chiefs to bounce back 24-17. I think they're just a better team than the Raiders are. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has owned this Raiders team. Every time they play each other, he ends up getting it done and that type of deal. So give me the Chiefs to bounce back here by a touchdown, 24-17. Really good game here. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles favored by 3 points. The Buffalo Bills coming off of a dominant win at home against the Jets 32-6. Not going to get much into that game. Bills just punched the Jets in the mouth the entire game. After they fired Ken Dorsey, they just looked rejuvenated on offense. Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over much, or he didn't really turn the ball over at all, really. He took care of the football and made plays down the field against this Jets defense. So they just, like I said, they just dominated the entire game there. The Eagles coming off a big road win against the Chiefs, 21-17. The Eagles continue to show why they're the team to beat in the NFC and in football. They can beat up. They can beat the really good teams like they have been all season, and it continues to show in their play. Holding Chiefs to 17 points, containing Patrick Mahomes and that offense. Defense really showed out. I think their defense is really getting a lot better like it has been all season. Getting hot at the right time, and like I said, they currently hold the number 1 seed at 9-1. But overall in this game, I just think the Eagles defense will be able to make some plays on Josh Allen. Even though the Bills did get a home dominant win, I just think the Eagles are still a better team here. So give me the Eagles 28-20 at home. Like I said, I think the defense will make some plays against Josh Allen, maybe pick him off and that type of deal. And I think Jalen Hurts will continue to have a good game against this Bills defense, who obviously is not as dominant. They're not as good as they were in years past. So he should have a field day against this defense. So give me the Eagles here, 28-20 at home. Another good game here. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Ravens are favored by 3.5. Ravens coming off a win last Thursday night against the Bengals, 34-20. Obviously, the Ravens were able to do what they want against that Bengals defense. Lamar Jackson had a pretty good game, throwing the ball, extending plays with his legs, and that type of deal. They did lose Andrews for the season, which I think is a big blow. Obviously, it's a target that Lamar Jackson relies upon, so losing him is huge. But I still think the Ravens do have enough other pieces on offense to be able to compete and get it done when it matters. It's just going to be a matter of, can they step up and make plays for their team? And the defense obviously is still pretty good on that side. So the Chargers come off a road loss at the Packers, 23-20. This Chargers team continues to lose close, heartbreaking games. It's just amazing to me how good a roster that this Chargers team has on both sides of the ball, and they're sitting here at 4-6. I think that just comes down to coaching, like I keep saying. All season long, Brandon Staley is going to be fired, in my opinion, at the end of the season if he does not get his team to the playoffs. This team is just too talented to be on the outside looking in. They should be a lot better than what the record is. But like I said, it comes down to coaching, and it's very evident Brandon Staley isn't the right coach for this team. And until they get rid of him, they're going to continue to show why they're an under 500 team when realistically, they should be better than what they are. But overall in this game, even though, like I said, that Andrews is gone for the season for the Ravens, I still like the Ravens 24-21. I just think their coaching staff is better than the Chargers right now. I trust Jim Harbaugh more than I trust Brandon Staley at this point. I think the coaching will be able to game plan well against this Chargers offense, be able to contain Justin Herbert a little bit in this game. And I think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson will make a big play at the end of the game here. So give me the Ravens 24-21 on the road. Last game of the week, we have a Monday Night Football edition. We have the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings favored by 3.5. The Bears coming off of a loss at the Lions, 31-26. I was really surprised of how close that game was. The Bears really kept things interesting. Justin Fields obviously was the quarterback in that game. The Bears obviously had a chance to win, but they just weren't able to make the plays down the stretch. Lions continue to show why they're a good home team, and they just made more plays. Jared Goff and company just made more plays in the end to beat the Bears 31-26 there. The Vikings coming off a loss on the road on Sunday Night Football at the Broncos 21-20. Like I said in my other video, I thought Joshua Dobbs has been playing really well up until that Broncos game. And I said that the Broncos would be able to contain Josh Dobbs a little bit in that game, and they did just that. They did make things difficult here and there in that game. The Broncos, you have to give them credit on that side. They just made things hard on Joshua Dobbs. But the Vikings still had a chance to win that game, but they just obviously just didn't make enough plays, and then crucial penalties in the end that really cost them. On the road in the Mile High. You just can't make penalties like that, especially playing in Denver in that environment in the Mile High. So that really cost them there. But overall in this game, I like the Vikings to bounce back 21-16. I think they're a better football team, and they continue to be in the playoff conversation and that type of deal there. So not much to say about this game. I think the Vikings are just a better team. Josh Dobbs will make some plays towards the end there to hold off the Bears team, 21-16 at home. Now I'll do it. Those are my Week 12 NFL predictions. Comment your picks below. Like, share, subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful, healthy, safe Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.